I'm here to make inflammatory statements on the internet, and then turn my notifications off.
I'm tired, man. I shouldn't even be making this video. There are so many things I could be doing right now. I could be working on my game, Gaming Journal Simulator, check it out on Steam right now and wishlist it. I could be playing games. I could be watching Netflix. Man, I could be going out and touching grass and stuff. But here I am making a video on something I saw on X. So the UK government is being what they are, a tyrannical socialist party which is doing everything it can to make me hate being here. Honestly, I saw the writing on the wall. I was screaming about it from the top of my lungs. But nobody listened. So for those who do not know, the UK government has announced that it will make digital IDs mandatory to combat, and I quote, the shadow economy affecting up to 1.2 million undocumented workers, building on recent enforcement efforts, including 35,000 removals since July 2024.
Gentlemen, this is Democracy Manifest.
Keir Starmer posted this on X. I know you're worried about the level of illegal migration into this country. Digital IDs is another measure to make it tougher to work illegally here, making our borders more secure. Ours is a fairer Britain built on change, not division. Or how about this? And I know you may not have heard of this idea because, and let's be real here, it's not like you're surrounded by competent people who can give this kind of groundbreaking idea. How about you stop the illegal immigration? Full stop. Bro, take a look at America, okay? ICE is going around rounding up people and sending them back. Bro, the White House recently made that gotta catch 'em all video, which I thought was hilarious.
Pokemon, gotta catch 'em all. It's you and me.
Yo, ICE, we got some wild Pokemons running wild here in the UK. Do you wanna come here and catch them too? You're more than welcome. You never know, you might catch the legendary one that has criminal background.
Catch 'em all. Gotta catch 'em all. Pokemon.
Which is kind of weird really when you think about, just how much the illegal border crossing has cut down in America. I think Trump did a phenomenal job with it. And I think something like that needs to happen in the UK. Oh, you don't have the papers? Well, guess what? You're going to some random detention center in Africa or something. Oh, you got some problems in your home country? Well, sorry to burst a little bubble of happiness, but we got our own issues here, so guess what? You're going back. Deport enough people, stop giving them PlayStations, stop putting them in hotels, and when these migrants realize that there's no financial incentive available anymore, they will stop coming. Also, I always wanted to ask this. These migrants, they're not going to countries like Dubai, Saudi Arabia, or any other country in Africa or something. They're going to countries like the UK, America, Japan. Why? Because the people are nice and welcoming in those countries, or have welcomed immigration previously. Look, I'm an immigrant myself. I had to take an English language test 2 decades ago. Had to learn about the history of the country, the elections, the parliament, and much more. I followed the process, the legal process, and here I am, a British citizen. Someone needs to pull, Starmer to a side and needs to tell him, hey yo, you need to chill out. All these measures that you're putting in place, you will just make the British citizens hate immigrants even more. He is dividing the people. He is dividing the communities. And the communities have never been this fractured before in the UK, ever. Bro, take a look at the Reform Party that is currently leading the polls. If there was an election tomorrow, Reform will disrupt the current political climate. And how do you think they managed to get that lead? By talking about immigration, by talking about what the British people are thinking. You know, forget about the whole political correctness for a second, okay? He is actually addressing the issues that, you know, normal people think about. Do I like the guy? No. Is he making sense though? Yes. I would rather vote for him than the Conservatives because they are the ones that started that mess. Anyways, Keir Starmer puts the statement on X and it goes as well as one expected it. Asmongold responded with, "I told y'all this was going to happen, but nobody wanted to listen. You and me both, brother." I think I shared in my last video where the UK government is trying to clamp down on VPNs, that the WEF is trying to get rid of online anonymity, you know what I mean, the online privacy. I can't spell now. Can't pronounce things either. And is trying to enforce digital IDs throughout. But no, why would anyone listen to me? You know, the voice of reasoning shouting in the void.
We have a problem. We have a problem.
Nux responded with, "Yeah, I poisoned the English people and yeah, I have the antidote, but why would I cure them if I can just spy on them instead?" And I 100% agree with Nux on this one. The UK government is trying to spy on its people, okay? Well, it's not just the UK, but Europe in general. They're trying to make ID requirements on VPN, they're trying to remove end-to-end encryption on messages, online digital IDs, and now these kind of IDs that are required to get employment in the UK.
And that is why today I am announcing this government will make a new free-of-charge digital ID mandatory for the right to work by the end of this Parliament. Let me spell that out. You will not be able to work in the United Kingdom if you do not have digital ID. It's as simple as that.
Shut up, silly woman.
Which is silly because we already have something like that in place called the National Insurance Number. Basically, National Insurance Number is used to pay your taxes and everything. So instead of paying like 8 different taxes or insurances and stuff, or whatever they are like in the US, I don't know. If you're working in the UK, National Insurance Number is all you need. And it clearly states on the government website. You can apply for a National Insurance Number if you live in the UK, have the right to work in the UK, are working, looking for work, or have an offer to start work. You can start work before you receive your National Insurance Number if you can prove you have the right to work in the UK. If you already have a National Insurance Number, you do not need to apply for a new one, even if your personal details change. Your National Insurance Number remains the same for life. So in other words, if you came in the country illegally, you do not have the right to work in the UK, and therefore you cannot get National Insurance Number. The whole reason the Communist Labour Party wants to introduce IDs is, so they can track people's activities. Bro, take a look at China, where the government decides a person's fate by adjusting their social credit scores, which affects how they live their lives.
A good score brings benefits, but people with low scores lose rights. The cinema names and shames people considered untrustworthy, plastering their details, even their addresses, across big screens.
Your social credit is low? Well, guess what? You can't have that job.
The Supreme Court has created a blacklist for so-called bad citizens, those whose ratings have dropped to 0. On it are companies, but also 23 million people to date. Among them is this journalist Liu Hu. He got a little too close to uncovering corruption among high-profile party members. After being sued for defamation by the subject of a story he'd written, he was blacklisted. But he only realized when he tried to buy a train ticket and was told he was banned from traveling.
That tells me I'm still on the blacklist.
Punished, because he's been branded untrustworthy by the state.
Once you're blacklisted, you can no longer get a bank loan, start a business, buy an apartment, or even send your children to a private school.
Yu Hu is among a tiny minority of people who have dared to criticize the system, which some are calling a digital dictatorship.
I worry, because I think many people like me will be deprived of individual freedoms.
Let's take a step further, okay? Oh, you posted something on your social media that is unacceptable? Well, guess what? That's going to affect your social credit. And remember, folks, there are numerous videos on social media where police visited average people's homes to address problematic social media posts. Bro, people were put in prison for their social media posts. Why are we playing this game? If the whole idea is to stop migrants or people who are not allowed to work in the country snapping up jobs from legal ones, then why won't you just get rid of the people that are not allowed in the country? Deploy the coast guards to stop the boats from coming in, do some actual work, protect the country. Honestly speaking, I'm just tired, man. It's like the Labour government knows they will not be getting voted in the next election, so they want to implement as many socialist and WEF policies as possible. And I, for one, am against any policy that restricts a person's legal employment status. Because if digital IDs become a thing, then they can be implemented at shops as well. Imagine not being able to buy food for your family, your children, because you don't have digital IDs. And all those illegal immigrants, what do you think they're going to do? They would either have to resort to crime because they need to feed themselves, rely on funds from the government, which frankly speaking will be generated by the tax British citizens, the legal ones, they paying. So basically they are funding these migrants, or a separate ID needs to be handed out to these migrants so they can purchase stuff. Bro, Starmer is applying Band-Aid to an issue that requires an immediate surgery, because this tumor is going to grow even more and it will hurt the quality of life for everyone. At the end, as an immigrant myself, I can say that this digital ID is not the way forward. Keir Starmer is a traitor. I'm not afraid to call him that. He is doing World Economic Forum's bidding rather than listening to the people of his country. You know what? I seriously want to ask him, bro, who advised you on this? Who gave you the bright idea? These digital IDs are not going to solve anything, because the problem is not people's legal status to work. The problem is illegal immigrants coming in the country. The more I look into it, the more that Nigel Farage guy sounds appealing, and it's scary. I don't want to vote for this guy, but I got no choice. The next general elections are in 2029, but my goodness, I cannot wait for those elections to happen sooner. I know this is a different kind of video, I didn't want to make it, but I consider UK as my home, and anything that affects my home, its people, it affects me, and I have a voice. I need to speak on these issues. It is my right to speak on these issues. You can disagree with me, you can agree with me, whatever, I don't care. But I have a voice, and I want to make sure that it is heard. Even if it is in the void, you can call me, you can relate that meme to me, that Simpson meme, like old angry man yelling at the cloud and stuff. I don't know, bro, you can do whatever, I don't care. But I saw this news and I was just, it broke me, man. When I came to this country, it was different, it was welcoming. And now because of this Labour Party, that is quote unquote trying to unite people, bro, I'm afraid to walk down the streets because I don't know how I'm going to be perceived. Because of the Labour Party, now we have people who are, against immigration. It's affecting me. It's affecting my mental health, and it's practically putting me at risk because of this Labour government. I can't even blame Nigel Farage on that. No, it's the Labour government. You know what? I'm gonna call it a day, man. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, rate it down. I don't mind. If you have anything to say, leave it in the comment section. I promise I do read the comments whenever people leave them, and I will try my best to respond to them, even if it is just a simple thumbs up. So, yeah, have a great day. Peace out, angels. Stay awesome.